I started Finetooth Consulting for two reasons. One, I was an executive with an independent BD that I enjoyed what I was doing, but it was one solution for thousands of financial advisors across the independent landscape. And what I found was that there were very strong, there were benefits that we had and there were weaknesses that we had as a firm. And that dictated our success to recruit. And so I envisioned a firm where, what if I could represent a financial advisor and truly engage in a client relationship with that advisor, and then go out into the marketplace and really in a reverse recruiting model to the standards in the industry and figure out who they should be talking to and why, and educating them on what they should be looking for and helping them to negotiate out their contract terms so that they're set up to be successful. And I wouldn't be limited to just one broker-dealer. And so it's just wide open in terms of what options we could provide.
A big part of what we do, though, is the educational component, because the independent spectrum is broad, and they don't know all the different options, they don't know the different models. So Finetooth really will dig in with a client, one client at a time, and help them understand, based on their business, based on what they do with their clients, what type of options they can choose from. Certainly, some advisors are happy where they are. They just maybe want to have more control or ownership or ultimately be more profitable. But certain advisors certainly want to get to the next level. How do they get there? So a part of how we help them get there is matching them up with the most appropriate partner that may have the best practice management in place, the best coaching resources in place, or other research in place that can help them take the next step.
We consult with wirehouse advisors about independence. We consult with independent RIAs about succession strategies. We consult with independent advisor groups of broker-dealers that are interested in recruiting and growing and expanding their firm. So we get the business. We've seen the deal structure go on inside those firms, and we've recognized where there's weaknesses, and we consult around that. So a lot of the other firms we compete with, they present well, but they don't truly get how complex the independent landscape is.
Our core is the transition advisory, where we are the advocate for the advisor in transition. So again, our client's going to be that advisor or team of advisors who wants to make a change, and based on their business mix, etc., we're going to help them understand who's their next best business partner.
You've got to really understand the client. It's really no different than the way an advisor works. We have to understand where they're having difficulty, and in some instances advisors don't know what the options might be for them. They don't know ways for them to achieve some of the successes or paths, avenues to get there. And so that's kind of where we sort of take a position very much like a sports agent and an athlete. That advisor is the athlete, we're representing their interests, and so we're going to engage in that type of a relationship knowing that if we're successful, that advisor will be positioned to be better off as a firm, better off as an advisor for their clients.
And we kind of have an internal joke, if you will. We're the one business in America that can't afford to have repeat customers. We want referrals, but if we have repeat customers, that means we didn't do a good enough job in the first place.